Good morning, everybody. It's time for the experience live with Russ and Scott. Here we go. Thank you, H&R Block of Albany, Corvallis, Lebanon, and Salem, Oregon, for being a sponsor of the experience. Hey everybody, I am so excited about our sponsor for this month's The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. It's the Gillette Home Team and Laura Gillette. How are you doing, Laura?
I'm doing wonderful.
That is so awesome. You know, the Gillette Home Team is doing so much in real estate. Give us a snapshot of what you're up to.
Awesome. Well, last year we were able to help 551 families either buy or sell real estate. We love our community. We love our clients. Our mission is to deliver the keys to home ownership through stellar customer service, integrity, and joy. And we're looking to help even more folks this year.
That is so awesome. You know, if you want a team that is there for you, it's the Gillette Home Team and Laura Gillette. And thanks so much, Laura, for your sponsorship. Here we are. Woo!
Hey, you gotta love Kermit.
Oh, I love Kermit. He is so awesome. Yes. Well, you know, nothing like getting you going in the morning, have a little woo from Kermit, and we can get rolling because now we got to go to Rob and Rob here pretty quick and really get the show going.
Yeah. But I tell you, I am going to pause and just say thanks to both of our sponsors, to the Gillette team and H&R Block. Always go with the professionals, right? Then you won't get into trouble. Nobody wants to go out to the mailbox and see a letter from the IRS. They are not your best pen pals.
No, that is so true. And, you know, I am a testimonial for both of them. I have used both of them. So thank you to the Gillette Home Team. Thank you to H&R Block. They are just incredible. So, yeah,
Indeed,
so great.
Indeed.
You know, so what's going on in your world today, Scott?
Oh, wow. I tell you, the big thing this last weekend was my daughter got married.
Woo! I was going to say it, but I wanted to let you say it.
Oh, yeah. We had such a fabulous time. And, you know, because of COVID and all this stuff and uncertainty about venues, we did have the wedding outside. So Samuel, his grandparents have a nice farm. And so we had it out there with, I think there were 10 huge tents. And sure enough, it rained. It hasn't rained for a couple of months here in Oregon, but it rained hard. And right before the wedding party came out, the skies opened up. There was a huge rainbow over the tents, and it was beautiful. So
God was
that was
shining upon
fabulous.
you.
Also, I want to throw an introduction out for the Business Builder Throwdown, which is on Thursdays, and you'll want to tune in. So just Google Business Builder Throwdown, and we are building a community there focused on health and wellness practitioners, and to help break that isolation. And there's some exciting stuff coming up, which we'll talk about in later episodes.
I can testify it's an awesome show, and you did just such a great job, Scott. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
everybody needs to tune into that. Also, I just wanted to say this week is a fabulous jam-packed week, but I have so many fun things coming up. But I wanted to just highlight this Friday, Russ Reels Live. It's going to be
Mhm.
author talk with our own D. Scott Smith, with Paula Newman, with Nancy West, some local authors that are doing incredible things. So you're going to want to tune in for that at 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We still haven't changed the Pacific Standard Time, so it's still Pacific Daylight Time.
Still
And
specific.
yeah, we'll be there.
On these same bat channels. Make sure.
That's it. That's it. Same bad channel.
Hey, speaking of the dynamic duo, we have a great pair of Robs today.
We do. We're going to rob you today, and it's going to be awesome. So we're going to start with Rob Howze, who's in the house. Come on. Bring it down.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey,
Rob.
Russ, how are you guys?
We are so good. It is so good to see you, Rob. Man, you were such a blessing to me. I appreciate you being on this morning.
I appreciate you and your positive energy. And, how about this? You talked about Rob. Well, my name is Rob. My best friend name is Rob. We grew up together. And guess what happened to us? We got robbed.
What?
I know that's not really funny, but it's funny now. It wasn't funny then. And guess what? I even have Rob on my arm. Hello. It's kind of interesting. So I may have called it on myself.
Oh, that is wow. Yeah, getting robbed is not funny. You're right.
Not funny. But it is cool. It is cool when you survive and you're here to talk about it. Amen. Oh,
it is the imperfections in life that make it interesting and result in a great story.
Oh yes. Oh my goodness.
God's giving you a testimony of how to survive after being robbed. There you go.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Hey, Rob, listen, I know all the fantastic things you're doing, but everybody doesn't know you. I mean, there's at least one or two people that still don't know you. So why don't you give everybody a snapshot of what's going on in Rob's world?
Well, thank you, Russ, and I appreciate that. So as you see, my title is a humologist and an empowerment artist. Empowerment obviously is empowering people to be the best, and empowerment for me is, everybody has the power to do whatever they need to do. Whatever you need to do, build your business, beat the addiction, strengthen your marriage, whatever you need to do, it's inside. It's just turning the light switch on sometimes, like, getting it on. That's empowerment. So I do that in a variety of ways. And then the first word is humologist. Humologist comes from the word humology. It's a 21st century word. And humology is the integration of humans and technology. How we integrate, how we use technology from a micro level, like how you track your 15,000 steps a day on your phone to understand the metrics of your wellness, or on a macro level, helping, there you go, automating business processes, saving companies millions of dollars a year, or in between, like this right here. This is an aspect of humology right here. We're utilizing technology to empower the world. Now, that's kind of what I do. That was like a broad view. We'll talk more, but that's the substance of it.
There you go. Well, I love what you do because it is right now more than ever. Now more than ever, we are using technology to really get human connection, because we have, for a while, that was our only way to get human connection. And now people have learned the benefits of integrating the two together. I had another fantastic talk this last week with another person that does a lot of the same things you do, Rob. Very, very good integrating technology into the humanology part of life. And so you're such a blessing in that area. So tell us, you came the background you came out of. You were pastor. You were doing all kinds of great things before. Give us a little snapshot of your life before.
Yeah. So, over the last 20 years, I've studied, you know, personal wellness, personal development, um, theology. I was a pastor for 10 years. Loved that. It was probably my favorite thing that I did, traveling the country, inspiring people to be great. Neuroscience, psychology, child psychology. I was a personal trainer for 15 years, philanthropist, of course. Started our first nonprofit at 2007 to benefit young people. It was a program, after school program and summer camps to empower their mind, body, and spirit. The word empower, there it is again. And over the last 20 years, just been involved in, various aspects of just helping people in those areas, mentally, physically, or spiritually or soulfully, however the word makes them feel comfortable. And that's kind of what I've been doing in a personal development junkie, you know, personal development junkie. When you're a personal development junkie, you can learn that, wow, when you start feeling anxious and crazy and depressed inside, when you're a personal development junkie, you have things like YouTube University, right? And you go and you watch videos, and then you start to understand why the quantum mechanics and how the physiology of all that works together, and how the mind, body, and soul actually work together when you study it, and then you begin to learn more about yourself. And so literally, I think the birth of YouTube and Google State College, it just took me to another level, because anything you want to know, ask the question and you have it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of like been like the most exciting thing for me over these last 10 years. I mean, I know internet's been out for a while, but for the last 10 years, man, I've just been able to really learn a lot, and then take the knowledge I know and learn, and then help others with it.
Yeah, I love the fact that you look at the neuroscience aspect of that as well,
Yes.
because that is one fascinating chunk of supercomputer between those ears.
Ooh, oh my goodness.
Woo.
Oh my! You could say that again, and if you
and there is
Go ahead.
no limit to what can be done when you network those supercomputers between our ears.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
Yeah, it really is. And it's interesting thing about the neuroscience and how our mind works. We have all these other thoughts and ideas that are in the file cabinets of our mind that we haven't opened, but they're in there. And when we do certain things, we didn't get access to other files that we didn't know we had, files being information. And so it's really interesting. And the more you begin to learn and study different things and stretch yourself, the more other firing and wiring of the neurons start to happen in other parts of the brain. It's really fantastic. And then you start to find out how that knowledge actually begins to empower you in your actual day. About that.
Oh my goodness. That is so true. And speaking of supercomputer up here, we want to bring in Rob number 2, Rob Statham, to join the conversation this morning.
I think we got Rob A and Rob 1. That way there's no hierarchical conflicts.
Okay. All right, whatever. We'll go with that. There you go. Rob and Rob in the house. How's it going, Rob?
So
hey,
you
fellas,
actually,
how you doing?
Rob, we got to start. I'm not going to let it pass here. You actually put a registered trademark on the Drunken Grape. Everybody's got to know what's going on there.
Yeah, so that name. So I'm an entrepreneur. I call myself a borderless engagement specialist through virtual tastings. Obviously, the pandemic really disrupted the whole standard event platform. So I had to pivot from live events to virtual. And the big benefit was being a subject matter expert in beer and wine, and being able to pivot and talk about it, and bringing the joy of that into people's homes, bringing engagement back to companies. In particular, people are working remote. They feel isolated. Nothing makes them happier than a glass of wine or a cold beer in front of them for a discussion. And it's really taken off. So the interesting thing is, as far as the name, it was my stepmother that actually came up with this 6 years ago. So I was sitting back and I was thinking, let's name it the Bacchus Beverage Group, something with Dionysus and Greek gods and wine and partying. And, she looked at me and she goes, no, that's just ridiculous. Why don't you call it the Drunken Grape? And we just started laughing. And I said, that's a great name, but there's about a 0.000% chance that name would ever exist. Somebody has to have it.
Sure.
So, the next day I went and did a noun search here in Ontario to register the business. And sure enough, the Drunken Grape was available. It was hilarious. So I'm like, no way. So then I got the .ca. I tried to bid on the .com, and somebody owned it in England, and we made offers, and I went to a trademark lawyer right away to get the name protected. And once it went from a TM to a registered R, which takes about 18 to 24 months in the trademark office with intellectual property protection here in Canada, the name was dropped, and I put a back order on GoDaddy.com for $9. It's just like the stars aligned, and the name dropped, and I picked up the .com for $9. And that's sort of how all this continued. But it's a real pleasure to be here. I love this panel. Great to meet you, Scott, finally in person. Rob, you're always a great class act. Rob was on, I had Rob on a podcast episode earlier, the Virtual Happy Hour Experience is something else that I host. And, you know, it brings together stories often of what people had to persevere and triumph over with adversity to get themselves onto the path they're currently on today. And that's another part of something I always love doing too, is giving back. And I think it comes from the event basis, right? So if you want to engage people, you also have to give back to people, and quite regularly. And I think that give back is crucial.
Oh, I think that is so, so true. I mean, I think what I love about the two of you is your giving. And I just think, I mean, you know, Rob, you have, are you A or B? B, whatever. You have the great Friday feature. Okay, there you go. But I love your Friday feature, and I was blessed to be part of that. And Rob Howze, you were just such a blessing, you know, dropping in, checking on me when I was having issues with COVID and all of that, and just being concerned. And I know you both were, but I mean, it just, I just appreciate you both so much. So Rob,
absolutely.
Rob Howze, you in the technology end, how do you keep the focus on this, on the face-to-face personal interaction when people think a lot of times that is taken away from that?
Well, you know, the 20th century was all about, you know, let's scale our business, let's make as much money as we possibly can. And that was the main motto. It didn't matter the cost of the human. Just humans were really just robots. And the goal was just to scale.
That's true.
Well, the 21st century, thankfully, has shown us that does not work. And we don't want that. We actually want human to human interaction and conversation. We want authenticity, right? We want to be treated. Well, so in our company, we have 3 levels: people, the process, and then technology. Take care of the people, then have to standardize your processes, then get the right technology. This is the way it should be in life. People come first. And so if you are a person that's interested in people, then you'll become more interesting to people, right? So it just works. So whether you like doing it that way or not, you should just do it that way because it works.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, that's such a great quote. I love that. I just used that in one of my presentations that I'm actually giving today at noon. And that is, if you want to be interesting, be interested. You got to be interested in people. And who said
I've
that,
heard
Rob?
Somewhere.
Yeah, who said that?
Of a book.
Jim Rohn?
No,
if you find my book, Motivational Listener, Be Interesting by Being Interested.
Oh,
well,
practical
that's
guide
cool.
to
I like that.
being
I like
successful
that.
at
I like
events.
that.
And it was the reason that phrase came up was as I was at an event and I was talking with this lady, and I was just asking her questions, and I found out about her business and her family. In this 2 minutes, I knew a ton about her because I was just asking these questions and truly interested in her business. And a friend of hers walks by. She grabs that person by the arm and pulls him in and says, "You have to talk to this interesting man." But she didn't know anything about me except my name. But I was asking her questions.
Yeah, that is so cool. That's how that is so how it works. And I'm so glad that we are. You know, the pandemic has actually accelerated this. You know, the pandemic shut us down to bring us together.
Yeah,
and it's kind of what happened, and we had spent a lot of time, so we had to kind of formulate this, the communication. And so, there's pros and cons to everything, and I love talking about the pros.
Rob, you're exactly right. That in a lot of ways, the pandemic just accelerated what was happening already.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And here we are, dispersed around the world and able to just have coffee and have
Yeah.
a great conversation
Yep.
as if we had walked into the same coffee shop together. That
So
is
awesome.
remarkable.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I couldn't agree more. And Scott, I brought my wrong cup today. Show everybody our cup again. Show everybody we got our new merch there you go. The Experience Live. Woo!
Thank you to
That's awesome.
Gateway Imprints
That's
for
right. Thank
these
That is awesome, man.
stunning mugs.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
cool.
Yeah. Well, hey,
Soon to be available. Soon to be available to the general public.
Yes.
Get your pre-orders in
Out of there.
now.
Get them in. Get them in. So, Rob, you are Rob Statham. You are really a person that reaches out to so many people, even if they're not the person that would go to a winery or do those kind of things. For one, I prefer coffee. It's all good.
That's
But
cool.
I went
Love
to
coffee.
I sent you, I think, some pictures.
Yeah.
A beautiful winery vineyard here close to Willamette Valley Vineyard, close to where I live. Gorgeous setting. We had a wonderful breakfast and it was just outstanding. And, the one thing I like about that is reaching out to all different types of people. And you do that so well. And I appreciate you for that.
Hey, thank you. And it's Rob hit on it and Scott hit on it as well. I think we've all hit on this, but the pandemic was an opportunity really where you could reach out, make a difference, make an impact, make some positive change, or you could sit back and wallow and hide behind a video game system or Netflix and really not do a whole lot during the period. And, it was an option. And I like what Rob Howze said, because it's awesome in the fact that take the positive and run with it. I love the fact that we can have this brilliant conversation on a platform like StreamYard. There's Riverside FM, whatever software tools out there. But the reason all these software tools took off was, and Scott, you're absolutely right. This was already coming, but it's like the gas pedal was pressed down really hard and the car took off from 0 to 100 in 3.9 seconds when the pandemic hit. And it's given us this awesome opportunity. I'm here in Ottawa, Canada. Rob's in Baltimore. We're like 3 hours away from you guys, time zone wise. Yet we can have this awesome conversation thanks to technology and thanks to being proactive and spinning the positive and running hard with this to make a difference in people's lives and reaching out. For all those watching and listening, this blows away cable TV. I can tell you that
goodness.
right now.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. The social media really distills a lot of things down to its essence. And throughout the pandemic, there was really 3 clear responses. And one of them was the people who just felt that they were victims and they were looking for someone to blame. So the government did too much, the government didn't do enough, and whatever, right?
True.
And then there were the people who just fell into the entertainment, Rob, as you were just talking about. And all of their questions were about, is Disney Plus worth the expense, or what's the next thing I should watch on binge on Netflix, right? And then there were the people who said, what's the opportunity to be able to connect here? What can I do? What can I institute? What can I build?
Yeah. And,
big.
It's interesting on what you said on build, because for me, I was still working between a convention center and bartending to fuel this whole operation and grow it. Business always takes twice the energy and twice the money you think it would in the beginning to take it off. This is just the way it is. There's lots of peaks and valleys. But what the pandemic did was it allowed me to go into overdrive. I realized I had a skill set. I realized I was able to really convey well from over 2 decades of entertainment background experience, TV experience, broadcast experience, to really convey the message. And I could have sat back and wallowed and said, oh shit, I just lost all my income. I had a pile of money wiped out the window. But I decided to just say, no, let's run forward and do some great things. And it came at an opportunity where in my space here in Ottawa, the event space was saturated. It was saturated by an old guard that blocked everything up. It's a political city. They had all the political connections. Their businesses have gone to dust, and most of them will not come back because the only thing that's ever going to come back now is weddings and large scale events. The rest of it's done. We are in a virtual world, and I can tell you it's going to stay that way because it's timeless. It's borderless. There is no commute. You don't have to worry. For us that live in northern climates, we all know what the inclement weather status is from October to April. It is not pretty half the time. And then you have to deal with trying to book things and deal, the traditional space and trying to get events off the ground. You got to deal with an often less than efficient sales team and events team. Most of them are dispassionate and they just want to have a paycheck in their hands because it's a job. This eliminated all that. And for all of us to bring our story to the world and share it to the world, but share other people to the world through highlighting them and bringing their skill sets and their passions and the beauty inside of them to life. The pandemic was a boom opportunity for this. And it's not going to slow down as we return to normal. The new normal is a full integration of the virtual world as we're using it now. And this is not going to slow down.
Humologist.
Yeah. Yes. And you do. People do come first. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Everything else is brick and mortar.
You two are both perfect examples of people that are interested in what's going on. Because I always feel, I try to be this way myself, but I always feel from both of you, Rob and Rob, that you are interested in what I'm doing. And Scott has always been a good friend, always been interested. And that makes me very interested in what you're doing. To be honest with you, Rob Statham, I would not have gone to the Drunken Grape and would not have looked at those things if it weren't for you. You were the difference maker, because I don't seek out wineries and things like that. That's just not my thing. But because of you, you made all the difference in the world.
Well, thank you.
And both of you have just been a blessing.
Thanks, brother.
Why? Yeah, thanks, man. It's and likewise, Russ. I mean, you've brought a whole morning show to life.
Yes.
You get up you're probably up at 5:30 ready to coordinate this, and I don't know how you do it, but you do it, and you do it so well. And it's sharing. The joy of it all is really sharing other people's experiences. When you look at base psychology, the problem in the world today is 95% of people's energies are inward, thinking of themselves. There's nothing wrong with focusing the majority of the time on yourself, because you have to take care of you. But imagine if you open that up to 75% to you, 25% to help the world. If everybody did that, could you imagine the magnifying effect of positivity, love, energy, and humanity, the boost and growth in humanity that would occur here? A lot of the imagine the problems solved in world hunger, disease, famine, climate issues, just to name a few, as well as income disparity. If people just put more energy into others, and realize that we are the driving force. I mean, people lived for thousands of years without tech. Things were literally in a stone age, yet they still thrived. Why? Because people united. That's why.
Oh, that's so big. And one of the biggest therapeutical relieves, like for psychology, when you go to therapists and you're trying to figure out how to beat a depression or something you're going through, or something that many practices use, is basically putting the focus on someone else, bringing joy to someone else. So to solve your problem, they would say, of what you're going through, is take the focus off of you and then think about someone you can go and serve. That's actually therapy, and it works.
So true.
And the reason why it works, because the reason why you're feeling so down and so low, because you're only focused on you and your problems. The moment you look externally for support and you want to give, you create what's called a dose of happiness. DOSE. D for dopamine, O for oxytocin, S for serotonin, and E for endorphins. And those neurochemicals start flowing through you and you start feeling great. Why? Because you took the energy off of you and you put the compassion and love towards somebody else. So good point, Rob.
Oh my goodness. You are so right on there. And I just have one thing to say to that. That was awesome. Mic drop.
Boom, mic drop.
With that, I'm going to give you both last word and give us your contact information, because I'm the bad guy that has to wrap the show up on time. So let's go. Rob Howze, back to you. Give us last word and contact information. Go.
So, last word. Rob, you mentioned something about if we could just turn outwards at least 25, right? How that would change the world. And I'm going to go along with you on that. I'm going to say there's two things we can do, very simple things we can do. And if everyone does this, guarantee you where we are, where the needle being moved for humanity will be unlike we've ever seen before. Two things you can do: love yourself and love other people. That's it. Love yourself, meaning literally be grateful for what you have. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. Be grateful for the things that you've accomplished and appreciate where you are. Love you. And then turn it externally. Love others. You can do that by giving. If these two things happen for every individual, we're going to see a decrease in disease, hunger, homelessness, poverty, all that. Love yourself and love others. That's the easy way. And so,
amen. Preach it. Come on.
Yes. Absolutely.
There we go. There's some empowerment.
Yeah.
All right. So contact information.
Contact information. I am, ladies and gentlemen, the #1 Rob Howze on Google. It's like 4 of us. Okay. But Google, so many great things there, but LinkedIn, I would say come to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best place to come for me, because that's where the engagement is. It's where the great people are. I met these wonderful people here. I met everybody in my life right now that matters, most of them, 95% on LinkedIn. So I would say come to LinkedIn and look me up. Let's connect.
Yes, I agree so much. All right. Rob Statham, go for it.
Well, I just think if we embrace each other, we embrace so much more. I mean, it's the old adage, like you get what you give is a classic saying. And, as we all want to grow our businesses, expand, do well, prosper, you got to give and reach out to others and help them get there too. If you build the bridge, they'll build the bridge with you.
Yeah.
And the trouble is a lot of people focus on woe is me, or just they're inward. They're too inward. And it's classic. I'll use money as an example. When people are broke, what do? They just bitch all day long about being broke. It gets worse. It gets worse. Eventually they go bankrupt. One of the best ways to get out of being broke is to actually reach in your wallet and give. Turn around and find somebody that really needs that $20, your last $20 more than you. And you'll find out that tremendous things happen to you.
Amen.
And it's the joy of giving that really sparks me, for instance. It gives me the passion to live and thrive every day. Part of the joy of the business I'm in is because it's giving joy to people. The paramount part of the fun of hosting these events and going live with people and, boosting them up and their morale up is you're giving back so much positive energy through a great experience. And if we can look at everything like that, the best businesses solve problems. Rob's got a AI or automated business that does great. Russ, you and Scott, you guys solve problems by motivating and encouraging people and uplifting them. And that in itself is incredibly powerful.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
You all do it, in fact, and you do it so well. And I'm on the same page too. I want to give. I couldn't do a business. Listen, I tried to be a broker. I looked at a whole host of things in the past. And the problem was I looked at it all and I realized finally it was transactional when I'm built to be a relationship oriented guy.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's good.
So contact information for you as we wrap it up.
Well, people can find me at info or rob@thedrunkengrape.com. It's really simple. LinkedIn, brilliant platform, the best social media platform by far on the planet for personal, professional, and business growth is LinkedIn. It's not like what I call Facebook. I call it hate book, or Twitter is just spamming and shouting half the time. The toxicity on some of these platforms, I don't even know how they're still in business. But LinkedIn is dynamite and in the opposite direction. You get to read joyful stories. You get to read nice quotes. You can skim through, see some awesome videos. And I have, like Rob, I've met all the amazing people in cyberspace through LinkedIn. You know, I also have my
Incredible.
YouTube channel. They can come follow me at or subscribe to thedrunkengrape.com. I've got the virtual happy hour experience. It's a weekly show that comes up on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the for the preview of that show itself. And then I air it a little bit later on LinkedIn and Facebook. But there's many ways to get a hold of me. LinkedIn and Rob at the Drunken Grape are definitely the two best ways to do it.
All right. All right. Scott, final word.
Fabulous. That is fabulous. This Rob, thank you so much.
Cheers, man.
What an encouragement today.
Yeah, thanks,
to talk
Scott.
to you guys. And just spread this concept that when I close out talks, often I'll put the slide up that says it's not about making money, it's about living a life that makes a difference.
It is,
and that is the both of you. And
thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Cheers, man.
Well, you
Thank
know,
you.
this whole discussion of outward focus and giving and serving is just what it's all about. And that's the blessings come back to you when you bless others.
Yep.
And Usama applauds that this morning.
Yeah. Cheers, Usama.
Wanted to thank everybody.
Gabe.
Yes, Gabe. It was so nice to see Gabe on this morning. Great to see everybody joining in the discussion. You know, if you didn't get a chance this morning, share this with other people and invite them to join in the discussion every Wednesday at 7 a.m. And we have wonderful people like Rob and Rob.
Woo-hoo.
And it's
Awesome.
a great time on the experience. So thanks, guys, so much. Appreciate having you both on this morning.
Thanks,
Hang
Russ,
tight
Scott.
as
Appreciate
I
it.
send you
Man,
out
much
for this-
love.
Okay, see you in a second. All right. Woo!
Wow. Episode 2.
amazing.
I tell you, it always goes too fast when you've got these remarkable people coming on. You just want to learn more. So I trust that people will be following both Robs on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And tune into the shows. Tune into those shows.
Yeah, and their information is in the comments that I'm flashing now, and so make sure that you connect with them. You know, they are both 100% correct that all of the great, really deep connections have come over the pandemic have come from LinkedIn. People are really starved for connection, and still today, you know, I mean, I do a lot of connecting, but man, LinkedIn is awesome. So I appreciate that.
You do a lot of connecting. You are a master at it.
I am busy.
And I'm just going to throw out that endorsement for you too, because you have got some workshops that you can deliver online that can really change those individuals' lives and the direction for some businesses. So I encourage people to make sure you're following Russ and ping him about delivering a workshop to your business or workplace.
Yeah, I love the opportunity to do these workshops, and I have a great one coming up here in a week, next Tuesday at noon Pacific Daylight Time, and it is called Turn Cold Calling into Making Friends. And it's a simple program to help you increase sales. It's just a lot of fun. And if you get a chance to tune into that, all the information will be on the comments for that. And you can tune in. This is a lot of fun. Great workshop. It's really a lot of it is based on the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And there's some
I've heard of that one.
Yeah. You might have heard of that just a little bit. Yeah. So Scott, who's that by?
Who is that by? That's Dale Carnegie.
There you go. I was just making sure you were on it this morning.
Dale Carnegie. Yeah.
That's yes. Right. And so he's awesome. Anyway. All right. Well, listen, we're going to wrap things up for today. I want to remind you, we're here every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And we love to connect with you. We love to have you part of the show to interact. Please share this with your friends and make sure that you tune in next Wednesday. And till we see you then, have a great day and a great life.
And enjoy the experience.